Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Weird World podcast.
Hi, Carrie.
It is Halloween World spooky season.
Halloween World. So your subtitle is spooky season, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. Is that always the subtitle?
I don't know. Is that what I say? Or I might also say spooky time.
You might say spooky time. Halloween World 2025. Spooky season, spooky time. That's too long.
Yeah.
But it's Halloween. It's our favorite time of the year, as you know, listeners. Today, Carrie, I have 3 entries. It's a 3 first, a little bit of a grab bag. It is the centers around the deep, dark forest. One of the spookiest places in the world, not place, I guess, but environments, is scary dark forest.
Yep.
Freak people out for good reason.
You usually have trees that look like witches with craggly hands.
There might be animals out there.
Yeah.
There might be ghosts out there. There might be hauntings. All kinds of reasons.
Forests are scary during the dark nighttime.
During the dark nighttime, sure.
Having never been in a forest in the scary nighttime.
What now?
Have I ever been in a forest at night?
Many times, Gary. We've camped. Many times.
You've been in forest?
Yes, in the forest. You know, the Sequoia National Forest, for instance, Carrie, a well-known forest with trees. You've been there. You've been some other places too.
Okay.
So Carrie's blacking out
times. No.
That's how much they scare you.
No.
Blacked out every time you've been in a forest.
With campsites and people and campfires and bathrooms, and that's not scary.
Okay, well.
We weren't going traipsing out into the scary dark forest when we were camping. No, you weren't.
Sure was. To the bathroom. It's scary. You think there might be a bear in the way. You never know, Carrie. You never know. Okay, so our first entry is more of a place. The next 2 are going to be stories, things that happened, including a very, very famous one from a different podcast, the Mr. Ballin podcast. And he didn't originate, he didn't make it up, but it's the Bell's Canyon case, which is...
You've been talking about this, never heard of it.
Carrie's never heard of it. We'll also have a story from Scotland, a very haunted...
Yeah, Scotland's
haunted
scary.
Location in Scotland. Yeah, out in the woods too.
Mm-hmm.
But we start with a haunted location in the United States. As a matter of fact, in North Carolina. It's a location called the Devil's Tramping Ground. Have you heard of that?
Well, no.
It's got
to be scary if the devil tramps there.
Obviously. That goes without saying, but it's really scary too. It's also kind of a supernatural place, a locus of some kind of supernatural energy or some paranormal activities are centered on this location.
Okay.
It's about 100 miles east of Charlotte, North Carolina. It's basically in the dead middle of North Carolina. For our listeners not from the U.S., North Carolina is in the southern U.S., kind of the southeast.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a beautiful, beautiful state. Lots of forests, lots of wilderness, lots of also farming cities. But there's a lot of wild areas and wooded areas. The Appalachian Mountains run through North Carolina.
I've never been to the Carolinas. I
have been to South Carolina. I don't think I've been in North Carolina now that I think about it. Yeah. Huh. Okay, then. I'll have to go there. I want to go to there now. Kind of like, no.
I don't want to go to there.
Why not? It's a beautiful state. Beautiful state. So anyway.
I'm a homebody.
Yeah, I suppose. It's just a little barren patch in the middle of a forest. These are I'm not sure trees they are, to be honest with you. There's a lot of pine forest in that area. I'm not 100% positive these are pine trees, though. But it's maybe 15 to 40 feet across. And we'll show you a picture. There's a picture right there. I'm showing now to Carrie. We'll put a picture on our social media and on a link here, I'm sure.
Okay.
It just looks like a kind of a dark, muddyish patch in a small clearing surrounded by tall trees.
And it doesn't look like a deep, dark forest. It looks like it could be somebody's backyard.
No, it looks more, it doesn't look super, super deep. Nearby, this is an area that's not as heavily forested. Nearby, there's some areas that are very, very thickly forested. Okay. It is surrounded by tall trees, Carrie. So no, not a backyard.
But I can see through those trees.
Okay, you got to have more trees.
No.
Oh, Carrie. Oh, God. So this place, though, the Devil's Tramping Ground is well known for nothing growing there and living. Not a blade of grass, not a tree, not a shrub, not a bush. Nothing can grow in this little semicircular 15 to 40 foot wide area.
Because the devil tramped on it too much.
Damn right. You ruined the soil. if you put something in the devil's tramping ground spot, regardless of how heavy it is, it will get tossed out. People have like put something, like they go camping nearby or something like that, and they, I don't know, whatever, put a camp chair there. I dare you. You're going to wake up, that camp chair is no longer going to be in the middle of the devil's tramping.
Well.
No, Carrie. No. It'll get tossed out. By who, you wonder?
No, I don't wonder.
You may be the devil. That's what I'm saying.
Or maybe somebody you're camping with.
No. No one would do something like that. There's a footpath that leads to it. And that footpath also apparently is barren as well. Nothing grows in that footpath. Of course, it could be because people are constantly walking along that footpath. Sure, that's possible, but nothing grows there either. It's an old article from 1930 in the newspaper that said wiregrass does kind of grow on a strip about 6 feet around the circle or so. You look at that more modern picture, you really didn't see a whole lot of grass there, but it used to have like a little bit of grass around it, so it was very well defined. And locals say they don't see that grass anywhere else except around the Devil's Tramping Ground circle.
Interesting.
And the grass, it doesn't just go straight up like normal grass does. It leans in toward the circle as if it's being drawn by the demonic power within that area. Stories go back to the 1800s that say, yes, indeed, as you might expect, the devil comes there to dance. They might got a hold down.
Hey.
They might call it a hoedown. They might call it a hootenanny. Either way, the devil is dancing. Hey, what? You guessed it, didn't you?
No.
Oh, okay.
I like that.
You like that. You like the devil dancing.
I like that the devil's dancing.
Yeah,
sure.
Devil has to have fun too. So you want the devil to have fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds a little pro-devil to me, if you ask me.
Not harming anybody.
Isn't he though, Carrie?
Not while he's dancing. If he was doing more dancing, maybe fewer people would be harmed.
I hadn't thought about that. That's a good point. So there's, like I said, these legends have gone back a long way. For sure, since at least the 1930s, we can verify in local papers that people have been talking about that. And like hunters would go there with their dogs, and the dogs would be like, scared. Or sometimes they said like there was a ferocious beast somewhere in the area. The most ferocious beast in that area would be black bear. And black bear are pretty scary. Yeah. But so maybe there's a black bear nearby. I don't know. A lot of the enthusiasts these days, the people who like to look into these things, they have gone there, of course, by the boat, by the truckloads. It's pretty. It's a very, like I said, it's
or the boatload.
Or the boatload. But they they have those road boats. They're called cars, and they have
the land yachts.
Land yachts. They've done a lot of video and things like that, and they've seen things like those videos of like a weird fog moving through the woods and kind of stops and sort of hovers and centers over the tramping ground. Could it be because it's
like
a clearing?
Fog does?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. Some people have reported fluctuations in the temperature.
Oh, sure.
And that you go there, and even on a summer night, it's like, ooh, you walk into the middle of the Devil's Tramping Ground, and what do you feel, Carrie?
Cold.
Burr. It feels very
But
cold.
I would think if it's the devil, it should feel hot.
I hadn't thought about that either. Could be ghosts.
Ghosts make it cold.
Ghosts do make it cold. Well known.
Yeah.
And of course, speaking of ghosts, there has been some like translucent creatures or figures or people like that have been seen along the pathway that leads into the Devil's Tramping Ground circle. And sometimes people have reported that the path itself appears to be dark, just completely black with no light able to like enter it. I'm not sure what that would look like exactly, but people say that.
Yeah.
Some people trace this back to this, maybe the spirit of a young girl has been seen as another ghost, like running through the nearby woods. This little girl has been seen and reported as a ghostly visitation. And if you do see that little girl, someone like a voice in your ear is going to whisper for you to run away, run now. That would be scary. Early in our last episode, we saw that Carrie is not a scared of ghosts. I'm going to stay with that. Unless they threaten her physically. If she just sees ghosts, she's not afraid.
Yeah.
What does it take for a ghost to make you fearful?
I need to feel them.
You need to feel them.
I need to feel that they can affect me.
What if they spoke to you?
I mean,
close by, in your ear,
what they're saying.
You would 100% piss yourself. I don't give this saying, hi, want to be friends? You would still, if you heard a voice, a disembodied voice in your ear, you'd be scared.
What if it was the ghost of my grandma Polly?
I'd still be scared.
Or my dad? I wouldn't be scared.
I think you might be. I don't know.
My dad or Grandma Polly? No.
Just a ghost, though, in your ear.
I know.
Come on. Okay, whatever, sister. Of course, some people say this might be some kind of a portal You hear that a lot for specific areas that have some magical, supernatural qualities. You often hear the explanation that, it's a portal, or it's a thinning in the veil between two worlds, something like that. That's a common trope. So there are folks who think that is true about the Devil's Tramping Ground. People have dug up, by the way, too. People have thought, well, wait a second. What if this means there's some kind of treasure? I don't know why they think ghost visitations would be associated with treasure exactly.
I don't either. That's weird.
It's too far inland for a pirate. Blackbeard or something like that. He was active on the coast, but it's well inland. It's not on the coast of North Carolina at all. So some folks have dug up the Devil's Tramping Ground thinking they're going to find some kind of a treasure for some reason.
Yeah.
To date, no one has found any treasure.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
That's very sound. What else could explain a strange area that seems to be physically impacted and stuff doesn't grow there? What else? What other kind of stuff that we might talk about on this podcast?
I mean, an alien ship landing there.
I didn't mouth that. No, Carrie got that all by herself. So, yes, some people think maybe an alien ship landed there.
Yeah.
And you know what? Maybe. It's like a natural landing ground for aliens.
I don't know why that would prevent something from ever growing there ever again.
Chemicals with the exhaust. They use a weird kind of alien fuel. Intergalactic fuel.
Well, I mean, if somebody wanted to test the soil, it wouldn't be that hard.
Interesting, because in 1940s, Dr. I.E. Miles, that was the best segue, the best accidental segue ever. Literally my next note. Dr. I.E. Miles, the director of Soil Testing Division for the North Carolina Department of Agriculture. Yes, there's a thing called that.
Yeah, of course there is.
Makes sense. He performed some tests on the soil that they extracted right from the circle, and the one thing he knows is that the soil is completely sterile. He said plant life can't be sustained. It doesn't have it's high in acidity. It doesn't have the nutrients. It can't sustain plant life. So why?
Why is it different?
He doesn't know. It's just, he can say it. No, it makes sense because of the nature of the soil. That's not growing anything there, but he can't say why.
Yeah, there's got to be a reason.
You would think, the devil's tramping through that area, something like that.
I mean, what is there something they could do to make it not sterile
and ruin a perfectly good tourist destination? Why would they do that?
I don't know
what we should do to that great tourist destination? You know what we should do to Leaning Tower of Pisa? Make it straight. No one will want to go there ever again, but let's make it straight. Yeah, Kira, great idea.
Really? Is this a big revenue booster for?
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I don't have any hard data. But people do go there.
Is there a lot of merch? Devil's Tramping Ground
I bet there
merch?
is. I bet there is. It's on our list now. You know that, don't you? Devil's Tramping Ground. It's gonna be a long trip.
Yeah, we're not gonna live long enough to see all these.
It's not that far
hot
from
spots.
Some other hot spots. So, one newspaper in 1980 said they posited that the reason nothing grew there because there was once a mule-powered mill there, and the mules would walk in a circle. They would lick salt, and because horses and equine need have salt licks, and then they dribble the salt as they walked, and that salt built up over time. That sounds like they pulled that out of their ass.
Yeah,
but
and you think the Department of Agriculture soils testing guy would know about something?
What it said is like super salty.
Yeah.
In fact, I detected salt and mule spit in equal measures. I think I know. No, so the area, of course, is said to be sacred to Native American tribes. Who knows? Everything supernatural in the U.S. ultimately has a Native American connection applied to it.
Because we're all on Native American land.
True. 100%. So, some people said some big chief was buried there and that's his gravesite or something like that. There's zero evidence of that whatsoever, but you never know.
Have they ever used ground penetrating radar?
I don't think so. Maybe. I don't know. It would probably just be tossed out because it's an object. So, if you left the ground penetrating radar machine over it, it's going to get tossed out.
Well,
eventually.
you don't leave it there unattended.
I suppose not. Okay. There's a song by Tommy Edwards and the Bluegrass Experience.
Oh.
It's called The Devil's Tramping Ground. It includes the lyrics, some say they hear the devil laugh as he walks around, so don't go near the evil spot where Satan can be found. That's not the melody of it, but I try to add a little musical sense to it. That's which sounds like a song that I, for one, never want to listen to. So we don't know. There was a movie in 2022 called The Devil's Stomping Ground. It was written and directed by Jonathan Landau and starred Mark Bellinger, Marley Alaya, and Lane Martinez de Andino. I have never heard of any of them. I'm sure it's a wonderful, wonderful movie. It's on private property nowadays, though, by the way.
Oh.
And so I don't, it sounds like access. People do have access to it. The owners of it is the Owens family. They've actually owned it for about 100 years.
Oh, wow.
And it's been passed down. And one of the current owners, his name is Robert Bobby Dow Jr., Bobby in quotes. He says he has a great respect for the energy. He feels the energy from the circle, and actually hosted a music festival there back in the late 70s. But today, the current owners refuse to go to the circle alone at night.
Ooh. They've seen some stuff.
They felt the presence.
Yeah.
So that is the story of the Devil's Tramping Ground. Next, we go to a very well-known story. I'm sure many of our listeners have heard this. Is the Bell's Canyon case that was popularized on the Mr. Ballin podcast a few years ago. So I'm going to go mostly from that episode of his podcast. There's a couple of sources, including one source that appeared to be written by the person who did like in the first person, almost like a creepy pasta version of it, kind of. Okay. I don't know how authentic that is. Mr. Ballin's podcast was more, he's telling the story about it.
Yeah.
So here's the story.
Dean loves Mr. Ballin.
I like the podcasts are pretty interesting. He has some interesting cases there. So the story starts in 2016 when a person who's said to be a Wall Street banker, his name is Matt, he went camping near Mount Rainier. Mount Rainier is in the state of Washington, up in the America's Pacific Northwest. Even though he was from Manhattan, or he lived now in Manhattan, working on Wall Street, or at least lived in the New York City area, he was said to be an outdoorsy guy. In his, he grew up with plenty of backwoods and camping experience. As you see from the story, he's going to go out in the middle of nowhere and just walk around having a good time. That was his camping. He was camping. He wasn't going to a specific campground. He's just walking around a pretty isolated forested area near Mount Rainier in Washington.
Okay.
So, but he's capable of doing that. He's got a compass. All right. He's got a compass. He's got good shoes. He's got water.
Where is Rainier? Is Rainier kind of more north? Like kind of by Seattle?
Stretch the time, Carrie. I'm busily looking at where it is. I think it's, let's see here. It's by the way, an active super volcano, by the way.
I know.
Yeah, it's sort of south and southeast of Seattle, kind of toward the middle western third of the state, if that makes sense. So, this is a very heavily forward. I think it's in the Cascade Mountains. It's a very rugged area. This is not, even Appalachians. This is vastly more. This is probably twice the height of the mountains of the Appalachians here in this area. It's a very rugged area. It's an area you can get lost and bad things can happen to you for sure. So he's out there. He sets up camp on the first day in a little bit of clearing. He pitches his tent. He prepares some food. And he's exhausted from a day of hiking, so he falls asleep in his tent pretty early. Hours later, he's not sure exactly how long later, he is awakened by a sound outside his tent. He thinks it sounds like animals. He's not sure if it's multiple animals or just one animal, and they're moving around, not too far from his tent. There are bears here. There are grizzly bears here. There are cougar here as well. There are dangerous things that can hurt you very badly here. There's a black bear here too as well. I'm pretty sure I'm not 100% positive there's grizzly bear in Mount Rainier, but there might be in the Mount Rainier area. But there's for sure a black bear, there's for sure a cougar. And so he just sort of partly unzips the flap of his tent just to take a look and see what he might be stalking around his tent. And he is absolutely shocked because what does he see right outside his tent, right by his fire pit? A man. Sitting there in front of his now dead, smoldering fire pit.
Yeah.
Sitting there looking out into the space, not looking at him, thank God, but just right there, feet away from the front flap of his tent. The man would sort of just look straight down to the ground. Every once in a while, he'd kick out his feet, sort of kicking the ashes in the fire pit. And just, Matt's just sitting there looking at him for a while. And suddenly, he whips his head around and looks right straight into the eyes of Matt. They lock eyes. They make eye contact. The guy looks like, what the hell? His eyes go wide, like he's scared, like he's surprised. Stands up, turns, and just bolts out of Matt's campsite into the very dark, pitch black forest that surrounds. So this is truly a deep, dark forest. Carrie's not going to claim any of this looks like someone's backyard. Okay? So he's just like, what the hell just happened? How long has he been out there? What do I do? Who is this guy? He's scared. He's shaking a little bit though. So he kind of goes outside and he gets his flashlight and looks around to see if he can see him out there still. He's a little bit nervous. Is he still around here? Is he?
Yeah.
What do you want? He doesn't see any kind of light source whatsoever. He doesn't see anything from anyone else. So it's like, and he didn't see like this guy had a flashlight. So he's just out in the middle of the dark forest, no flashlight. And now he's in the dark, in very rugged country, tough to walk through at points. And there's no one there. There's no light. There's no fire. He doesn't smell anything. There's nothing.
Yeah.
It's like it's almost like he was a ghost.
Yeah, almost.
But he shakes it off. He gets back to sleep finally. He wakes up in the morning. He starts. He's he's just a walking tour. He's just planning. I'm going to walk through the thing for days. I know where I parked my car. I'm going to go away from it, and then eventually I'll come back to it.
Yeah.
But I don't have an agenda. I don't have a location. I'm just going to walk around. I've got a compass. I'll find my way back. He trusts himself.
Yeah.
Would you ever do that?
Would I or did I?
I know you haven't, Carrie.
Yeah.
You think you've never even been in a forest.
No, it's dumb to do that by yourself.
By yourself is probably not
it's
super.
It's called the buddy system for a reason.
Carrie is trying to help you people, you forest walkers, you. But that's kind of important because for the next 2 days, he's traveling. He thinks he's gone at least 10, maybe even 15 miles. And here's the thing. He's not walking along a trail. He's not walking along any place obvious. He's zigzagging around. He's going left. He's going right.
So
he's
how
just
does he know he's not going to get lost?
He's never going to get lost because he has a compass and he knows where his car is. And I can't stress that enough. I don't know how. I would be hopelessly lost immediately. But he's not. He's Matt. He's a good outdoorsman. He works in Wall Street.
Sure.
So, but he says he's going different directions. That's critical. Do you know why? Because he sets up. Now this is 2 days later. He sets up camp again. He has a little more food again. He's made his fire pit. And then he's kind of sitting there along his fire pit in front of his tent, and he hears some rustling behind him. He thinks again, okay, well, this is just an animal, so I'll go see what it is. He turns around. It's dark now. He doesn't see anything. He finishes his food, Here's a little more rustling, but he's just not sure what he should think about it. And then suddenly he hears a voice. So he hears the sounds again. And he knows, okay, there's something behind me. I'm positive there's something out there. So he's peering into the forest. He doesn't see anything. He just trying to listen as best he can, expecting to see a deer is going to bolt from the woods, or maybe even worse as a bear, whatever. He's going to see something eventually, or it's going to go away. Instead of hearing an animal scurrying through the forest, what does he hear, Carrie?
A person, a man.
A man's voice. And that voice shouts out, "Do you know how to get to Bell's Canyon?" Matt is freaking out. Matt's never heard of Bell's Canyon. In that voice, it pauses for a while, but then shouts out again, "Do you know how to get to Bell's Canyon?" He's thinking, I don't get it. What's going on here? Somehow in his heart, he just thinks, this is the same dude.
Yeah.
I'm positive this is the same guy. How? That's impossible. He would have to have followed me in a way that I couldn't hear him or sense him nearby. He couldn't have just this could be an accident, and he couldn't just, he's going on blah, blah, blah trail. He's going to wind up here. He had no way of getting to the same spot where he is other than to have followed very closely behind him for 2 days. Doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
He's thinking, this guy, should I be afraid of this guy? I don't know where Bell's Canyon is. I can't even help him. And it's silent for a while. And he's thinking, okay, this guy's going to come in. I've got a flashlight. I think he had an axe, I think, just for chopping wood and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So he has a small hand axe, but that's all he has. But that's fine. Maybe I can talk to him. Maybe he'll come into the light and he'll talk to me. But
so he can't see him at this point.
He can't see him, no. Yeah. And he just says again, do you know how to get to Bell's Canyon? He goes, no, I've never heard of it. I don't know where Bell's Canyon is. And it's just silence. And then again, do you know how to get to Bell's Canyon? Yeah, at this point, now, okay, asked and answered, sir. I don't know. You know I don't know. And you're still asking. That can't be good. So takes a big breath, grabs his flashlight. So He thinks he knows where the sound is coming from, so he quickly whips a flashlight and shines at the spot in the forest that he thinks the sound is coming from, the voice is coming from.
Yeah.
Sure enough, he sees a face, he sees a man. It is indeed the exact same man who had been in his camp 2 days ago. The person like puts his face away and puts his hands and says, "Put that thing down, aim that another way," or something like that. Mm-hmm. And so he does. Matt's a nice guy. And that's the proper thing to do. That's the polite thing to do. Want to shine a light in someone's face.
Yeah.
So he does. He lowers the light, but the man doesn't appear to leave. He doesn't hear the man run off. So he's just wigging out. This guy's been following me for 2 days. He's right here. He's just not that far away from me. He's silent again, except then he hears the voice again, and he can tell the person has gotten closer. Do you know how to get to Bell's Canyon?
I mean, I would still shine my flashlight at him. Maybe not in his face.
No,
but
I would shine in his face. I absolutely would, and make sure he sees my hatchet.
Yeah,
his voice is so close now that Matt thinks he could rush me. He could. Yeah. He's pretty close to me though, so he does raise the light up again, and he sees that the man is just like several feet away.
Yeah.
He's just a few feet away from him now. And again, like they did before, the man's eyes get wide. Like he didn't expect that. Like, whoa, okay, I'm freaked out. And he turns around and boom, rushes off full speed into the forest again.
Does he describe his clothes ever? Like what's he wearing?
I don't think so. I think there's certainly kind of a mountain man feel to him or someone. But it's not like he's dressed in a three-piece suit. He's dressed
no, of course not.
for the forest, I guess.
I know, but okay, is he wearing a North Face jacket or is he wearing an old flannel or an
REI store brand? I believe.
I mean,
what he said.
does he look old timey? Does he look very up to date and current?
I don't know.
These are context clues.
These are good context clues. Like he's an old miner, like our miner's ghost, perhaps.
Correct.
Something like that.
That's what I'm getting at.
Okay. I don't know. I don't think he does. I don't remember reading any clear description of his clothes. Then again, he saw him fairly quickly both times.
Does he have a big old beard?
I'm going to say yes. Although,
because if he's a mountain man, he knows where Bell's Canyon is.
No, Bell's Canyon. Actually, there is a Bell's Canyon. There's no Bell's Canyon in Washington. There is a place called Bell's Canyon in Utah.
Yeah.
Which seems weird.
I'm just saying, if he's local.
If he's a local.
If he lives out there.
Sure.
But
since there's no Bell's Canyon,
I know.
He's fucking with him. Yeah, and that makes it even scarier, I think. And so Matt starts to run after him. And then quickly, though, he just for less than a minute, he runs. He goes, well, hold on here. I'm in the middle of nowhere. This is rough terrain. It's dark. I've got a little flashlight, but still, this is dangerous. He goes back to his tent and's like, let him alone.
But also, this has been 2 days.
Yeah.
I mean, he could have harmed him if he wanted to harm him.
That's true. If he's following close behind, you think he could have. Yeah. But Matt has no cell service there, and he thinks, I'm about 3 days away from my car. I'm in the middle of nowhere. This is not great. So what does he do? He has a knife. And he stands like in the middle of his campsite and just like waits. Like at least I want to see, head on a swivel kind of a thing. Got the flashlight out. He waits for hours. He's just looking around. Finally, it's like 3 a.m. He says, "Okay,
he goes in.
Yeah. He goes back in his tent and he falls asleep.
You know what I would do?
What?
I would rig up. I'm assuming he has like rope and string and stuff like that. You'd rig up some sort of system.
Tin can scary.
Well, he probably doesn't have a bunch of tin cans.
Oh, damn it.
I would rig up some sort of tripwire kind of thing if he comes, a certain closeness to your tent, you'll hear something.
Yeah, but you're MacGyver. You have special skills in that regard. Not everybody can do that. Can rig up tripwire entirety of the circle around their camp.
I'm sure Matt does. Matt's
probably. He's an outdoorsy guy.
Yeah.
So next morning, sun comes up. He's up, crack of dawn. He gets up, packs his stuff very quickly, and just like almost a run march, double speed. He's hiking through that forest toward his car. He's done with his vacation. It's over. I got to get to my car as fast as I possibly can. And this time, he's continually looking over his shoulder, stopping and listening. You think he'd hear a crackle somewhere if someone was following him closely again.
I have a point to make.
Yes. Make it, please.
He has a cell phone.
No service.
Doesn't take service to take a video or to take a picture.
Yeah, well, too late now.
Yeah, Matt didn't think of that, did he?
No, because he's scared shitless. In the middle of the night, someone asked him where Bell's Canyon is, Carrie. You wouldn't either, okay? He said, hold on, let me take a picture. Carrie. So, it's like he realizes the sun's going down, so he better camp again. He knows that, so he does. And then he's very nervous this time. He does get to sleep finally. And then hours later, again, he hears a sound of somebody walking around his tent.
Ooh, so that's scary.
That's very scary. And this time he's like, it has to be him again.
Yeah.
He must have followed me. So he gets his knife.
You know what I do? I'd yell out, do you know how to get to Bell's Canyon?
Oh, yes. And you go, yeah, as a matter of fact, oh, wait a second. You tricked me, didn't you, Matt, you outdoorsy Manhattanite? So he just clutches his knife and sits in the middle of his tent for hours, forcing himself still to stay awake.
Yeah.
4 o'clock, 5 in the morning, he's not sure when. He thinks he hears the guy walk off.
Yeah.
He thinks he hears the sound of him leaving the area.
Sorry, Matt. That's when you get your cell phone out. You put it on video, and then you go out with your flashlight and your knife.
Yeah, but remember last time he snuck him, he was right there. What if this guy's armed? He has no idea what this guy could have a gun. You don't want to mess with him. So, again, Matt waits for crack it on at sunup. He hasn't even got that much sleep. He gets up and just, again, almost running to get to his car. Maybe he's hoping he can get to his car again. That, he has a 3-day journey. This is only the second day. He doesn't. He realizes that when it's starting to get dark, he hasn't made enough time. He's going to have to set up camp at least one more time. So he does. He climbs into his tent, gets his knife again, and just sits there waiting for hours again, trying to, I don't know, probably had a lot of coffee, trying to keep himself awake, waiting so he can't be snuck up on in his tent.
Now he's loopy from sleep deprivation.
Probably.
He's going to get lost. He's not going to be able to find his car.
He's exhausted. He lays down to sleep finally. And then as he's laying there, I guess nodding off, somewhere out in the woods comes the voice. Do you know how to get to Bell's Canyon? See, I'm not even making it a question because I don't feel like it was a question. It's a question, but I don't think he really expects an answer at this point. Matt bolts up, heart going nuts, I'm sure. And he doesn't know what to do. He's got his knife. That's the best he can do. He just, sits there in the tent with his knife. And then he sees or hears the guy like run past his tent. And again, is that an animal? Is that him? But he thinks it's him. And he would hear like and he's like running past, like he's running outside his tent somewhere. And every once in a while, he would hear like a moan or a grunt, or the guy kicking along the dirt and kicking the leaves, and then run past his campsite and through his campsite over and over again.
Yeah.
Finally, as it nears dawn, he hears the guy run one more time and run out into the forest, and no more sound from him. I mean, he's completely messing with him. Gets up at dawn, or packs his stuff as quickly as possible. Fast march again. This time gets to his car before it turns nighttime again. Gets inside and just starts. He said he cried tears of joy for finally getting to his car. Yeah, he drives down the mountain. He gets to the nearest hotel, and where he finally gets cell service. And he thought, I'm going to call the police. But then he thought again, said, what am I going to say?
Tell him? Yeah.
He scared the shit out of me. He was harassing me, but he doesn't look like he committed any kind of a crime. So he does nothing. He finally hiked the rest of the way out, or I guess he drove the rest of the way out of the mountains. And he's thinking, how did this guy didn't appear to have any gear, didn't appear to have any kind of a flashlight, yet he's following for days through this dark forest, this rugged country, just to ask him, how do you get to Bell's Canyon?
Yeah.
To this day, Matt does not know how to get to Bell's Canyon.
No.
I made that up. So that's the...
you should have said, it's about 15 miles that direction, the opposite direction that I'm going.
Okay, thank you. This could have ended the first night. God damn it, Carrie, if only you were there with Matt.
I know.
What were you doing with Matt out in the forest, Carrie? I'd like to know. What's going on there? Oh, I see. So an outdoorsy Manhattanite. Is that your cup of tea? All right, fine, whatever.
Weird.
So that was the story of Bell's Canyon. Now we're going to turn to our third and final story, an intriguing story I like to call the Scottish bothy haunting.
Huh?
Uh-huh.
Bothy?
Yep.
Okay.
A bothy is a mountain camp. How would you call it? So in the U.S., they might call it sometimes people call it a backcountry hut, or a wilderness hut, or a backcountry shelter. The idea, though, is that it's just a shelter there for really bad weather out in a hiking trail someplace out in the wilderness, along a trail where people might go where they need emergency shelter. There's nothing there. It's just a roof over your head and walls.
Yeah.
So you can warm up and stay out of something like snow or rain or something like that. And Scotland has these things as well. So we're in Scotland now. The shelter we have was December 1973. Two men, Phil McNeil and Jimmy Dunn, are going to have a strange adventure involving a bothy nestled in the Scottish Highlands, and the home, it really wasn't a true mountain little backcountry shelter. It was really an abandoned house.
Oh.
And it was called Louisbelt, spelled Luibelt. I looked it up and it appears to be pronounced Louisbelt. One source spelled it Lewis Belt. Okay, well, it has to be Louisbelt. It was a former hunting lodge back in the day, but by this time, by 1973, had been not lived in, they didn't think. And so it was used as a shelter. At least that's how they were going to use it.
Okay.
So, and since the 1980s, it has been kind of pretty much always used as a shelter. At this point, it seems like they weren't 100% sure if people were living there or not. It didn't, or were still actively using it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Phil and Jimmy, at the time, Phil was 18 years old, but he was a member of Glasgow's. Glasgow? How do you pronounce Glasgow? Glasgow. He was a member of Glasgow's Langside Climbing Club. So we have another experienced outdoors person here. His friend Jimmy Dunn. They were going out toward Ben Nevis, which is actually the highest mountain in Scotland. And actually the highest mountain in the entire British Isles. How tall do you think Ben Nevis is? Highest mountain in all of the British Isles.
I mean, I'm not a good judge
of altitude.
No, I couldn't.
Throw a guess.
I'm going to say 3,000 feet.
Okay, good Lord, Carrie.
What?
How flat do you think? It's 4,413 feet, or 1,345 meters. Yes, but
I was going to say 5,000
that are much higher than that.
I know.
It lets you know that's the highest.
I was assuming it was going to be unusually low.
It's weird, isn't it? I don't know. For people that we live in California, where we have mountains of 15,000 feet.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been way over 4,400 feet all the time. Mm-hmm. So it is weird though to think how low lying Britain is. So they are on their way out there, and they're hiking toward there, and they actually hitched a ride to Kinlochleven, which is near Fort William. It's in Scotland, that's all I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
And from there, they set on foot, and they walked about 10 miles or so, 16 kilometers, and they found themselves at the Louisbelt Lodge, and it's in the Lochaber Hills. So this is hilly area, it's forested area, it's pretty rugged area, and they're going to use this lodge they wanted. I don't know how they looked it up, no websites back then, but they knew about it, and they're going to use it kind of the base for a climbing trip. They're going to go climb. I think they plan on climbing Ben Nevis and some other local peaks. So it was kind of in semi-ruins. Again, it had been a hunting lodge, but it was just kind of beat up. No one lived there for sure. No one lived there, but they weren't 100% sure. People didn't use it still, but they knew it had been used by hikers and walkers in the area as a bothy.
Yeah.
So they get there and they try to open the door, but the door is locked, which doesn't seem very public spirited.
Yeah.
And they look through the windows and they see dishes in the sink, which seems but I mean, people could be using it. And there's a sink. I guess there must have been running water, I guess, but they didn't see anybody inside. So
it's weird that it would have running water.
They didn't. I take that back. I don't know if it had running water, maybe, but dishes. That seems weird. If it's a camper or hiker using it as shelter, it seems odd. They put dishes in a sink, whether it was running water or not. It seems odd to me.
Yeah.
And so they drop some of their gear stuff, and they just they get their climbing gear, and they go out to do some climbing, and they figure we'll get back here by about 9 p.m. So it's dark when they get back. It's absolutely dark. They have their flashlights on, and now they check through the window with their flashlights, and nothing seems any different than it had before. So they make their way into the building through a window that was left open. So they open up the window from the outside, they climb in, and hopefully they said, hello, anybody here? Because again, there could be other hikers there for sure, other climbers. It's pretty far from any village or something like that. So they figured, they're not sure what the dishes are. Maybe they've been there a while, but they're pretty sure they're alone there, right? When they get in, they notice something strange, though. It's extremely cold. Jimmy would say it was much colder inside than outside. This doesn't make any sense.
That's odd.
He said it felt odd. as a matter of fact. He took the words right out of his mouth. He said it became obvious the place had been vacated very rapidly. Now, I don't know why. I mean, it's not like, what, plates on the table or something like that, but he thought it had been like somebody took off very quickly. And he said he looked at the table and it seemed like it was set for Christmas dinner. And there were crackers on the table as well. I don't know if they associate crackers with Christmas dinner. I don't know. I would think geese.
Dean,
but in England. What?
Christmas crackers.
What are Christmas crackers?
I'm
finding out something new. Go ahead.
It's like a tube. And it's wrapped.
Go on.
There's little toys and trinkets inside.
What's happening? They said the Christmas crackers were still to be pulled open. That makes sense to you?
And yes.
It makes no sense to me.
And the two ends, it looks like imagine a piece of candy, with the ends that when you pull it apart.
Pull the ends and crackers and toys come out?
You pull it apart and there's always a paper crown. This is a UK thing. There's a paper crown. You have trust me, you have seen enough British movies and TV. I've never seen that. Where there's a holiday.
I've read Poirot's Christmas Mystery, and I don't remember that in it.
Well, if there's a Christmas dinner, everybody's sitting around the table with a paper crown on their head because they open their cracker.
But I didn't know they got it from crackers.
Yes.
I didn't associate crowns and crackers. My bad.
Yeah.
Well, you learned something new.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for that.
I feel so smart right now for knowing something you didn't know.
You know a lot of things I don't know. So it looks like they did. They're about to have Christmas dinner or something like that, and they took off before they even opened up their crown crackers. Damn it! So that's much more freaky to me now that I know that.
Yeah.
So they look around.
Well, which is just odd because nobody would be having their holiday meal in this
an abandoned ex-hunting lodge. That is strange. Well, unless they're
ghostesses.
There you go. So they look in each room. It's 2 stories, by the way. And they look in each room, and each room was still furnished, and it looked almost like it was still lived in, which is very unusual to them. Go ahead.
They time traveled.
Ooh, I hadn't thought about that. Although
I don't know where the people are.
I don't know where they are either. And why would they leave their Christmas crackers with the crown? So they go upstairs, and they notice that the bedroom that's right above the living room, that is not furnished. So it wasn't people were living there, but they didn't live in that one bedroom. I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
What was inside that bedroom, though, was a dismantled metal bed. Like the frame is dismantled, and they had propped up the frame of the bed against the wall.
Yeah. And
it was right next to a window, and the curtains of that window were open. And on the windowsill, there was like a big boulder. One of the sources I said it was a large boulder made of rock. I don't think you know what a boulder is, dude. So they see a big rock there on the windowsill.
I have a question.
Open window. Yes, go ahead, please.
Did everything look current?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, I hear nothing about it looked like the 19th century. I don't think that at all. I think it looked current. Yeah, okay. I did. Current Christmas.
Because you said metal bed frame, so that leads you to think it's a...
I don't know when that started to be a thing.
Because this is the 70s, right?
Yeah.
For sure.
Early 70s.
Metal bed frames existed in the 70s.
Sure. So they go back downstairs to the living room, and they're going to sleep down there in the sleeping bags. And Phil, again, notices how crazy it was cold. And not only that, but it felt weirdly silent, too quiet. He said the quiet enveloped you. Almost the minute we blew out our candle, there were noises upstairs, though.
Ooh.
So icy cold, super quiet. It gets dark. Boom. They hear something upstairs. They hear footsteps and noises as if the metal bed is being... almost are they putting the metal bed together? Who did that? Where were they?
Right.
Before, if there is someone else here, that seems weird. They must hear us. They know we're here. And now they're putting the bed together? That's odd.
Maybe it's another dimension.
Ooh, I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah.
Suddenly here, the boulder made from rock that it seems like dropped from the windowsill and then starts rolling. And then it starts to roll across the floor above them. And then...
So it's a perfectly round rock.
Yeah, I guess so. It would have to be a round boulder from rock, yeah. And they don't go up there, apparently, because the version I said, one of the versions I said, read that they, despite being pretty freaked out, they nod off and they both go to sleep. Wouldn't you go up there?
100%.
100%.
No, I would stay downstairs and send you up there.
Yeah, well, okay. I'd both go up there. In fact, and you'd be in front of me. So they go to sleep thinking, hey, maybe we just imagined it, really.
Sure.
You imagine metal bed frames and a rolling rock. All right, whatever. About 4 a.m., Phil says that the living room they're in, quote, erupted, unquote, with sounds, objects, like things being thrown around, like their stuff. Like they hear it sounds like their ice axes being tossed around and just stuff being thrown all over the place in the darkness. They can't see. There's no one there as far as they know. And Phil said, quote, I am absolutely petrified.
Yeah.
End quote. Yeah, you are. Phil finally is able to light a candle. And then suddenly, as soon as it's lit, the candle flies across the room.
Oh, no.
Smashes against the wall.
Out of his hand because he's holding it?
Or it's on the floor. I don't know.
Okay.
But he's able to light it, and it flies across the room. Then they hear footsteps. They hear footsteps again upstairs. But this time it seems like they start to come down. I guess there's a spiral staircase that access first and second floor. It's like they're walking down the spiral staircase, which is going to lead into the living room where they are. And the footsteps just, one at a time. It's pitch black. They can't see anything because someone tossed that candle across the room. And suddenly, the close. They said I guess their room was close. I don't know if the staircase must have gone to a hallway. They haven't accessed the living room where they're in because until they stopped. Okay, so because the footsteps come down and suddenly stop right outside the closed door to the room that they're in. So, So walk down the stairs, I think down a hallway, and then stop at the closed door to their living room, they're calling it, where they're sleeping. Phil has been able to find one of the ice picks, and he's got it at the ready. He thinks it's an intruder. I'm ready to go. Let's go, bro. Let's do ice picks. Let's ice pick fight.
Sure.
And he goes over the door, and he swings the door open. And what's there, Carrie?
Nothing.
Nothing whatsoever. Quote, I slammed the door shut, and the footsteps went straight back up the spiral staircase.
Ooh.
Coming out at the top above them and walking across the bedroom above them again.
Wow.
Now they are even more petrified. What's the level above petrified? That's what they were. They're petrified cubed.
Shit in your pants.
Shit in your pants. He had to go change his pants. He came back. They're still scared. They pack their stuff up and they get the hell out of Louisville in just abject terror.
Yeah.
They're getting back to Kinloch and as they're leaving, that's their plan. They're going to go back to the town nearby. I don't think it's super far away. And so, but as they are leaving the house, they turn around. And I think it was Phil shines his flashlight back up there to that room. Remember, they had a window that was open where the boulder was to see if he can see anyone there. And he sees that now the windows is closed and he sees now the curtains have been closed. They were olive green color and they've been shut as if someone didn't want to be seen or something. So they report what happened to them and people talk about it. And some people think, well, you just got freaked out. Maybe a rock did fall down or something like that. Maybe the stairs are just creaky. Maybe the most common thing is that people think someone was messing with you.
Right.
Someone was hiding there and they were screwing around with you. And Phil was convinced that there's no way. Besides, there was snow on the ground and they saw no other footprints except their own. Now, I don't know when's the last time the snow fell, but to Phil, that it must have been long enough where he felt now we would have seen those footprints unless they've been in their days. I don't know.
Right.
So Phil was pretty sure that there was not anyone there messing with him like some people thought. So, and again, that's what people think. And people think also like, oh, they were, maybe they were suffering some mild hypothermia. And I guess you can have some hallucinatory episodes if you're hypothermic. So some people think there's something going on like that. But, there has been other places where this has been reported, but some experts think, because it's the same kind of situation. You're mildly hypothermic. You're out in these forest, shelters, and you have hallucinations. But here's the thing. It didn't end there for Phil. Because when Phil went home to 39 Gibson Street in Glasgow, for the love of God, stop giving addresses of people, newspapers. That's good. This is 1973. But that's where he lived in 1973. So he goes home. And I guess he shared the home. I think he shared the home with Danny. And they would years later go on a podcast and Phil would talk about it. And he said, it's like something followed me home because I still felt it. I felt a presence. I felt bad. I was afraid to go places alone at night.
Yeah.
It affected him. And so he felt like somebody had followed him back to where he shared that flat with his friend Bill on 39 Gibson Street, Glasgow, Scotland.
Don't go there because somebody else probably lives there now.
Yes, please don't go there. And ask, is Phil here? I want to talk to him about the situation in 1973. So he said that Gibson Street, to Phil, said that actually where he lived had kind of a spooky reputation to it, and strange hauntings and things like that had happened there. But he had never believed it. Now he kind of did. So for this first half of the year in 1974, he started noticing things happening in that home. That like one day he pulled back the carpet. I don't know why. And he saw a cross made of old newspaper, and that what he believed underneath of it was a blood stain in the middle or on the newspaper, staining this old newspaper that was formed in the shape of a cross. He also found a trap door on the floor, which apparently he hadn't known about before.
Wow.
Seems like you should get to know your apartment a little better, Phil. And I guess right when he found it, at that same instant, the light bulb in the kitchen fell. Like it unscrewed itself and fell to the floor and shattered in many pieces. Right when he found that trap door in his place where he had lived before this happened in Louisville.
Yeah.
So that's weird. Phil started to think, okay, did something follow me? So he wanted to understand what happened better. So in 1975, Phil and Jimmy and their friend David, by the way, was a skeptical friend. They hiked back to that lodge in the middle of the Scottish Highlands to check out, see what they can find. And so they get there, it's dark, they light a candle, and then what do they hear, Carrie? Noises, but now the noises are outside along the gravel pathway that leads up to the old structure.
Wait, what does it look like on the inside? Are there dishes?
I get the sense it looks the same. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think there's any Christmas crackers either. I get the sense that it looked like what it was. It's being used for by other hikers and people like that. So they hear, I guess there's a gravel pathway that it lines along the nearby riverbank, and they hear the sounds of footsteps on that gravel area, and then it sounds to them like someone's dragging something. That's a little scary. And then the noise gets closer to Louis Belt, to the structure, and then it almost seems like it was like inside the house, behind the closed door of the living room where they were going to sleep. Like it's in the house with them. Yeah. The sound of dragging of footsteps. Phil says, I clenched my fist, leaving my thumb and my little finger extended out of my clenched hand. And that, in fact, is a demonic sign. And I cast a huge shadow with my outstretched hand on the ceiling, end quote. Phil, guess what? Do your thumb, close your fist, stick out your thumb, stick out your pinky. What is that? That's shaka, bro. That's from Hawaii, and it's a sign of goodwill and friendship. What the fuck are you talking about? It's a demonic sign. No, it's not. I don't know.
Maybe
what
it is in Scotland.
Nah.
In the 70s.
Listeners from Scotland in the 70s, tell us if the classic Hawaiian shaka sign is a sign of demonic force or something like that. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. I did look up, what is that sign?
Yeah.
And it all said, that's shaka sign from Hawaii.
I had never heard it called shaka. I thought it was Hawaii hang loose.
People have used it in that context, Gary, but it's called shaka.
Okay.
So again, it's thumb, pinky out.
Yeah.
You usually shake it and say, hey, what's up, bro?
Yeah.
So he says, I don't know why I made that gesture. I just felt like it, and I did. And he said that he felt this quote, this incredible reversal of the noises, end quote, and that, hey, I just chased it away. I won. Winning. Okay. He felt like he had chased away this demonic force.
With his thumb and pinky.
He made the shaka sign, confused it with a demonic sign. I mean, that would for sure be your index finger and your pinky, which is also the University of Texas Hook'em Horns, but also is Rock On Satan, All Hail Satan at any Black Sabbath concert. So fast forward to 2021, Phil goes back to Louis Belt that summer with some friends, and now it's just like a shell. It's basically just this outside structure. There's nothing inside really anymore. It's been ransacked.
Wait, after how long?
It's been 2021.
Oh,
so remember, he
okay.
visited in 73 and 75. So it's just been denuded, basically. And even the roof was down in many parts, and the building was like, it's kind of falling apart.
It's a ruin.
Yeah. But someone had spray painted on the wall, quote, "This house is haunted. This house is evil." Which,
so
you know
they
what?
weren't alone.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So you think it's just Phil, right? Maybe it's not just Phil. Another witness named a guy named John Beach. He came forward when I don't know if it was when he heard the podcast or what, but he said that he and a friend had sheltered in the Louis Belt on a climbing trip back in October, sometime in the 1980s. I guess I didn't know what year it was. So they actually go to a structure that's across the river on the other side, on the opposite bank from the Louis Belt. It's called the bothy, but it's nearby. So maybe the structure got so poorly built at the Louis Belt that it moved, possibly. Because he said when he and his friend out hiking, started to go to sleep, put their sleeping bags out there. He says, quote, "We were laying out our sleeping bags, and as we were doing that, we heard footsteps, someone walking across the floor above us, walking from right to left. Couldn't mistake it for anything else. Heavy footsteps," unquote. So he thinks, okay, we thought we were alone, and, I don't know. He's not. So I presume they went upstairs and they saw no one there. So they come back downstairs and it happens again. Same thing, walking from left to right. So this time he shouts up and he says, "Anybody there? Anybody there?" Nothing, no voice, no one answers. And they thought, that's weird. And a few minutes later, it happens a third time. It's like, okay, that's it. And then they do go up there.
Yeah.
Like, someone playing a joke on that. So they get their headlamps, because I guess I don't know if there's no electricity or what it is, but then they walk upstairs and there's only one room on the right side of it. And they put their head in there with the headlight shining. And, they see in this room, what do you think they see? Not just nothing, Carrie, but there are no floorboards. The floor
has
gone.
Couldn't have heard.
So
footsteps.
Nothing can be wrong. He looks at his friend Colin and he says, "What the hell is going on?" And obviously no one can walk across that because there's no floor. It's just like wooden joist. And maybe they're like an inch and a half wide, but they're like also a foot apart. There's no way they could have heard that. He said they for sure it sounded like they're walking. He said, "I've lived in apartments. It sounds just like someone walking above you." So they go back downstairs. It's pouring rain. That's why they're sheltered there, I guess. It's super windy. And they don't know what to do. They're freaking out. And I guess the windows of the glass was gone. Again, this is I think they're in the other bothy, not the Louis Belt. It's written to be a little confusing though.
Oh, okay.
But there's like corrugated tin has been tied off in front of a window to, keep the rain out and the wind out.
Right.
They're down there thinking, what do we do? There's rain. We don't leave, even though we're freaking out. There's a ghost in here. And suddenly the metal just comes screeching out and flies across the room. Like the wind? Or did someone rip it out? Pull it out?
Yeah.
It had been tied to the window. They thought securely. So they go and they get it and they pick it up. And he says it didn't like it fell off. It flew across the room. And he looks at the knots and they look like the knots were untied. They weren't ripped. They weren't torn. The knots that had been tying it to the window looked to be messed with. And he looks at it and friend like, how did something untie this? And his friend Colin says, "I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I have no idea. Can we go now?" So that was it. That was the adventure of that guy. And what was that guy's name again? And Colin, John and Colin. With Louis Belt as well. They would later tell the story to like some mountaineer people and one of the other persons there like years later. And then most people just like laughed, okay, whatever. Yeah. But one person related a story about staying there as well and like trying to open the door and like the door not moving. And he's like trying to open it, but it won't open. And his friend's going, "It must be pull it or, push it. Don't pull it." But it wasn't. So like they had an incident there too, where someone seemed to be like holding the door or rifling the doorknob and not letting them into or out of whatever room they're in. So it wasn't, So that is the story of the haunted bothy.
Or two.
Scotland or two. Yeah. I'm not positive. I think the whole thing was, I think they were in Louis Belt as well. Again, the source that told their story was just one source, and it did not make it clear. I apologize. I think they were in, but they do mention this other structure, so I'm not 100% sure. So, but that is this happened, as you know, Carrie, in the deep, dark forest. Because I had to pull it into the rest of these things. I just want to tell some, forests are scary. Halloween is a great time for forest.
Yeah.
People should go camping in Halloween. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah.
No, stay out of the forest.
Stay out of the forest.
It's a famous saying.
Is it? I'm pretty sure stay off the moors, but if you want to say it's that too, that's fine.
Or a certain podcast that
but no,
we don't listen to anymore.
I'm going to believe you because you told me about Christmas crackers.
Thank you.
So I'm going to believe whatever you say from now on. I can't believe I've never heard of Christmas crackers. I'm just mortified. Well, hopefully you enjoyed those 3 tales. Well, 2 tales and 1 scary place, really is what it is. And the scariest one, the Bell's Canyon case, the reason I like that story, and I'm not going to lie, the Bell's Canyon case is 90.9% sure creepypasta, made up story for sure. Obviously, of course it is. But what the difference with that story is that it is a clever new twist on an old idea. It's not just there's a million stories of I was in the forest and people scared me and I heard sounds. There's one about, I heard horses. We were on a mesa and there's a herd of horses below us and we went there the next morning and there's no horse prints in the mud, things like that, or just people. But
it doesn't go crazy where you see a bloody axe in a tree or,
the Bell's Canyon case is just so unnerving.
Yeah.
It didn't happen for sure. It's fiction, but it's a really unnerving tale, and I applaud the storyteller for that reason.
Unless you're listening, Matt, send us an email.
Carrie's is first of all, she went camping with you. I just found out. Now she's asking you to send her an email. Interesting, Matt.
Well, if I went camping with him, I would know. I would have his number. So,
would you? Okay.
Yeah.
Matt, the outdoorsy Manhattanite.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. Works on Wall Street. Okay, good. All right, well, hopefully you enjoyed. Thank you very much. We'll bring you something spooky again next time.
Yeah, stay tuned.